Extreme cold, resulting in high power demand, has placed the Alberta grid at a high risk of rotating power outages. It's not exactly a message you want to receive in the middle of a hot summer day or a cold winter night when your house is near overheating or freezing. Such emergency grid alerts come with instructions. Turn off unnecessary lights and electrical appliances. Minimize the use of space heaters. Delay use of major power appliances. As Alberta's electricity use sets record after record in recent years, grid alerts are part of the reality. But the reason for them is far from simple, and weather alone is seldom enough to send the grid into a tailspin. I'm Drew Anderson, the Prairies reporter for the Narwhal based in Calgary. Here's what you need to know about grid alerts and how the frequency of electricity shortages could change in the future. Quick little recap on what a grid alert is, please. Alberta's electricity grid is complicated, to say the least. The grid is a tangle of private electricity generators connecting to private transmission lines, fed into homes by another set of private distributors, plus those bills that would make an astrophysicist's head spin, all overseen by an arm's-length provincial operator, provincial regulator, and market watchdog, not to mention a very involved provincial government. All this to make sure your lights stay on. And your smart fridge can recap the latest season of Love Island while nagging you to restock free-range eggs. But the grid can get dicey, especially with increasing demand. And the Alberta government has recently introduced significant changes to the way the grid is run. So when it all gets to be a bit too much, a grid alert is issued, and Albertans are asked to immediately reduce electricity use, for fear if they don't, the province will not have enough to go around. So what's a grid alert exactly? Let's keep it simple to start. A grid alert happens when demand starts to get so high that it might outstrip supply. Basic. Too many people using power, not enough power being generated. The Alberta Electric System Operator, which manages the grid and tries to ensure enough power flows to consumers, recently changed its alert system. Now the public will only be notified if there is an emergency and there could be rolling blackouts. That's a change from when it used to also advise the public to reduce consumption before an emergency occurred. If things get really bad, the operator will initiate rolling blackouts, cutting power to different regions of the province. This is where we often hear the same misinformation repeated. It goes something like this: renewable power is the problem, isn't it? No, it's not. Data from the grid operator showing alerts between 2006 and 2024 doesn't support the idea that the surge of renewables that started around 2020 made things so unpredictable that grid alerts are happening more often. The phase out of coal power doesn't have a huge effect either. The first year of data published by the grid operator, 2006, had the most alerts, while 2013 had the most hours of alerts in a given year. Although the operator has not posted summaries of alerts since late 2024, monthly event logs show only one alert in 2025. Alerts that were headline news in 2024, like the one we shared, and blamed on renewables by Alberta Premier Danielle Smith, turned out to largely be the result of unplanned outages at natural gas facilities. Between 2006 and 2024, renewable generation climbed from less than 5% of the power supply to approximately 22% in 2025, a significant increase. Okay, so it's not renewables. Then what causes grid alerts exactly? The basic answer is weather and how we respond to it. The biggest spikes in alerts over the years have been in July, presumably when things get real hot and everyone turns on fans and air conditioners. September is the second most popular month for alerts, followed by the deep winter chill of January. The operator, in response to questions from the Narwhal, said the September spikes were mostly due to higher than normal temperatures, combined with planned maintenance that reduced supply. But, of course, there's nuance. Those large natural gas plants being shut down, for example, or there could be a catastrophic combination of factors. The wind stops blowing unexpectedly, at the same time that some major gas generators are down for maintenance, just as demand ramps up due to weather. There is also increasing pressure on the grid, as more and more aspects of contemporary life are digitized and electrified. If someone points the finger at just one source as the problem during a grid alert, let's say renewables, it is usually safe to say that's an indication that there's a political narrative at play, rather than a hard examination of the facts. So, can we expect more grid alerts in the future? Probably. There's the increased demand through electrification of everything, But there's also increasing uncertainty in Alberta's electricity market, with the government and the grid operator undertaking a massive restructuring that's not expected to be fully operational until 2030. That means investors are holding off on those expensive decisions until there's more certainty. The recent pipeline agreement between Ottawa and Alberta also includes changes to the electricity grid, with calls to drastically increase power sharing between BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, and potentially include nuclear power. All of those could have a big impact on the way the grid operates, but details still need to be hammered out. And of course, there's the lingering effects of the government's 7-month moratorium on renewable energy projects, the stiffer regulations that followed, and the impacts of new rules under the restructured energy market that adversely impact new and existing wind and solar projects. There's also the push for data centers. But so far, the Alberta government has restricted their proliferation, realizing there's not enough power to supply them. Those who want to build new data centers will have to provide their own power, a move the government also hopes will use on-site natural gas. Quick reminder, natural gas is largely methane, a potent source of atmosphere heating emissions. While there has been significant additions to power generation in Alberta recently, if investment stalls for several years, it could result in not enough power at a time when demand is increasing, and that's a perfect recipe for grid alerts. If you liked watching this explainer, I'm sure you'll like our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe so you can see more content like this. And some of you OG fans might have noticed that this script was very similar to a written story we published over at the narwhal.ca. That's because it is. So if you want to see even more stories like this from other reporters, including stunning photography from some of the best photojournalists in Canada, go over to the website. This story was written by me, Drew Anderson, and the video was produced by Manuel Becklin. It was edited by Sharon J. Riley. Generative AI was not used in the creation of this video. I really do look like this. If you want to learn more about our AI policy, check the links in the description.